watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to join the family. So today we're going to be making the authentic Ghanaian bean stew. So the process, the steps to take for this stew is almost the same as the bean stew that I made the last video. If you haven't watched that video, I'll link it in the description box below, or I'll leave it somewhere on the video today. So for the ingredients that we need for the bean stew, of course we need our beans, the black-eyed beans, these ones. This is what I buy. And then we need our curry powder, sardine, geisha. We need Maggi cubes, the onion powder, garlic powder. These you don't have to, it's not a must to have them. They are just one of my favorite spices to use, the garlic and onion powder. We have Maggi. This is the vegetable one. It's different from these ones. Then we have our palm oil. We have our regular vegetable oil. Then the diced tomatoes, the anchovy. In the spinach stew video, I showed you the anchovy that I buy. This is the one I buy. Most of you suggested that the common name for this is herrings. I didn't know that. So, and then we have our salted fish. This is the one that I buy. Most of you were asking me where I get my salted fish. This is the one that I buy from a Chinese store. I don't know if you can find it where you live, but I like to buy this. But I think any salted cod would work. Then we have 1.5 tablespoons of tomato paste. We have the onions, the carrot, the garlic, the pepper. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is wash our beans and start the beans cooking, because it takes some time for the beans to cook and get soft. We need our beans very soft for this kind of stew. So we are going to get our beans cleaned up. Okay, so our beans have cooked. They are very soft. They have become very soft, and all the water is dried out. So this is how your beans should look after they have cooked for, mine I think they cooked for at least an hour and 20 minutes. So this is how the beans should look. Okay, so I chopped my herrings to smaller pieces using my blender. So I just use the chopping option. But if you don't have the chopping option on your blender, then you have to cut them in smaller pieces. That takes a lot of time, but you have to, because you don't want them to be big into your stew. So the first thing we are going to do is add our oil to the pot and heat it up. This is my vegetable oil. Don't add too much oil, because we have palm oil that we are going to add to the stew. So when you're using the vegetable oil, don't add too much. It's just to cook up. We are using this just to cook the onions and the ingredients that we are going to use, but it's not the main oil that we shall be using for today. So I'm just adding a little bit. So you have to go with me like this as I'm going. Okay, so we are going to add our onions and the salted fish at the same time in our oil. The onions and the salted fish, and we are adding the earrings at the same time too. The oil is not that much, right? It's just to cook up the ingredients, that's it. Because we are going to be using mainly the palm oil. Okay, so we are going to leave it to cook for 4 minutes. Okay, so now we have our blended pepper and garlic that we are going to add to the onions. So right now the onions have cooked to this extent with the red earrings and the salted fish. So we are adding the pepper and the garlic to that. We are letting it sit for 2 minutes, just 2 minutes before we add in the next ingredient. So what we shall be adding next will be our tomato paste. So we are going to let it cook for a while, for 2 minutes to be exact. Okay, so after we have added the tomato paste, we have added our diced tomatoes, but I realized I was not recording. So I have added my diced tomatoes and I'll leave it to sit for 25 to 30 minutes. We are going to prepare our red plantains that we are going to eat with the bean stew. So our stew has cooked up to this level. All the water is gone. The tomatoes are well cooked that you cannot even see them. So at this time we are going to add our sardine. And we add our geisha too. Okay, so the next step that I do that you don't have to do it. This is something I like with my bean stew. I like to add in some carrots, but you don't have to, and then some onions at this step, so they don't overcook. But you don't have to add the carrots and the onions if you don't want to. Okay, so now we are going to leave it to cook for at least 4 minutes before we come in and add our beans. Okay, so we are going to add in our beans at this point. Okay, so now at this point, this is when I add my palm oil. This is the point I add my palm oil. See how it looks so yummy? It looks so good after you have added the palm oil. I don't like to add the palm oil in the beginning to use it to cook the ingredients, because then the color will come. The color will not be like this. The color will change. The more it cooks, the more the color changes. So I like to add it at the end, so my stew can have that orange color. So at this point, we are going to leave the stew. Everything is done. We are going to leave it for about 5 minutes for it to cook and absorb all the ingredients that have been added, and then we shall be ready to eat. Okay, so now our stew is ready. We are going to make our fried plantain. The plantain has been soaked with ginger and salt for about 20 to 25 minutes. Finally, we are ready with our stew and the fried plantain that we are going to have it with. This looks so yummy for me to even look at it. I want you to try out this bean stew with egg, and then you can have it with the plantain or rice or yams, anything that you would like, but this tastes so delicious. I want to thank you so much for watching from the beginning to the end, and if you have not subscribed, please go ahead and click that subscription button below to join the family. And I also link my previous video, that is the spinach stew that I made. If you haven't watched that video, please go ahead and watch that video. It is also so informative on how to make spinach stew. Very delicious stews that are easy for anyone to make, Ghanaian or not Ghanaian. Myself, I'm not a Ghanaian, but I can make these stews. Please, there is a detailed video on how to make all these stews. Take your time and watch it and learn, so that you can have the best and delicious meals for your family. Thank you once again. Me and my family are going to enjoy this meal. I pray and wish that you try it out too. See you next time. Bye.